I know you as the most incredible talent from a musical point of view. 15 million streams?
50.
50?
Yeah.
50 million streams.
Yeah. I think it was 2021. I was like the only female in the top 10 of live streams of that year. And I appeared 3 times along Coldplay, Youngblood and Ed Sheeran. And it was just like random Liv Harland was just thrown in there. It was just...
That's not a bad group of musicians to be
honestly
associated with, is it?
Yeah.
Lyrics, you mentioned something earlier about you get there, you're on wherever, whatever stage you're on, and you know the next chorus, you know the next verse, and you know where that's going. If that was an essay in an English exam that you were expected to remember,
No.
You're shaking. Yeah.
Absolutely not. I feel like when I'm in the zone and I'm interested in it, and I'm enjoying it, and I love it, it's like I'm having the best time, but when it's regards to like every other job that I've worked in until I was a singer, I just couldn't really concentrate.
You're in the creative arts. How do you think your ADHD enables you to be a brilliant musician that you are?
Liv Harland, welcome. This is going to be an interesting journey conversation for all of us, I think. Natural curiosity at the heart of it. I know you as the most incredible talent from a musical point of view. 15 million streams?
50.
50?
Yeah.
50 million streams.
Yeah.
And the confidence to have backed yourself, to quite literally pitch up on a street and start singing, and then have that talent recognised and grow organically. And that same curiosity, over the last few months, you've just been messaging, been paying attention to the conversations around ADHD, and it's piqued your interest.
Yeah.
And you've just been sort of saying, I need to explore this, I want to know more. And that's literally what's brought us here.
Yeah. I think it's just the people that I've been around, and I'm kind of just always been known to be like that kind of hyperactive person, and noticing mainly actually recently in my new relationship, just the way I navigate certain things, say the first thing that comes to my head, and she's quite emotionally intelligent, and I just don't even realise some of the things that I quickly say can just sometimes just say the wrong thing, and trying to do like so many things at one time. Like when I get in the car, for example, she's very much like, you're trying to do and organise and think about 5 things at once as soon as you get in the car. And I think I've just not been used to having a passenger 24/7 that's telling me that's what you want to do. Like I'm always talking, hey Siri, text this person. Hey Siri, ring this person. Hey, set a timer for this. And it's just like, why am I doing that? It's because my brain is having to concentrate on driving, and I'm bored. Not bored, but like my brain's not stimulated enough, which is crazy because I'm driving. But
that's amazing, because that talent you've got to be able to write lyrics, to ad lib, to do so much that has gained you so much success as a musician, singer, almost then gets you into trouble or confusion, anxiety, if you like. Sorry, I put words into your mouth, but that's got you spinning, if you like, outside of that. I wonder how much of that clarity you get and almost that brilliant space to work in when you are
in the studio and writing and stuff.
And that's probably something that other people in the music industry can relate to as well, probably something you've seen a lot of.
Yeah, I think I've got into writing in the last year or so, and I'm fine kind of spending all day writing and just like making a few notes and like making the song. And then when it actually comes wrapping up, we said earlier, had a conversation, like finishing the day, and it's quite like overwhelming to kind of wrap it all up into one, and then sitting there all day and having to pick your brain on like sometimes it doesn't come to the forefront of my mind like what I want to write about on the spot. And it's a new process and journey, but it does help when I'm concentrating kind of on one thing as well.
Let's go back to the conversation you related to that we had earlier.
Yeah.
So earlier I screened you for adult ADHD, and I used the ASRS, an internationally validated tool, and that unequivocally screened that you are likely to have ADHD. When I was asking you those questions, how easy was it to answer those questions?
First one, which was a complicated one, it was like about wrapping things up and like can I and can't I, and sometimes I'm quick to and sometimes it takes ages, and it's like the whole day I'm fine. But it was like quite quick. All of them were just, I knew it was like the top scale of everything.
Yeah.
With the
And then I asked your mum the same questions. What was your expectation of your mum's answer to those?
I knew she was going to answer exactly the same as what I'd done, to be honest. And even the first one, we both were like, can you repeat that? What does that mean? I'm not sure on that one. And it was literally exactly the same as my answer.
It was like a double act.
Yeah, it was weird.
It really was.
Should film that.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should do. Good point. Well made. Thanks. So yeah, you've screened positively for ADHD. You're in the creative arts. How do you think your ADHD enables you to be a brilliant musician that you are?
I think when it comes to talking, it's a lot easier to just sing and be in the moment. Like when I'm singing a song on stage or have a certain set, time just flies by. I can sing a song and I know the lyrics, I know what's going to happen. I know that it's this verse, then to the end, that kind of controlled environment. And it just gets me in like the zone. And I feel like when I'm in the zone and I'm interested in it and I'm enjoying it and I love it, it's like I'm having the best time. But when it's regards to like every other job that I've worked in until I was a singer, I just couldn't really concentrate. And the thought of actually even doing anything other than music, even if it's just down to, well, yeah, it's just singing at home in my bedroom, to like actually doing like a performance, I just couldn't picture myself doing anything else.
There's a flow state there, isn't there? Because you went, I saw your headspace go, like if you're on stage or you're, some of the social posts I've seen you put out like in Covent Garden where you close your eyes and you're in your absolute element with your talent flowing. And at that moment, it's almost like if you could bottle that and keep that. But then I guess those messages you sent me where there's a curiosity that's also not necessarily a cry for help, but like actually, are those times when you're actually struggling?
Sometimes I come across rude, and I think my mum does as well, don't you? Like even on the train today, like she'll say, "Oh, this is my seat," and it's just like you'll say as soon as what's come to your mind. And what did you say earlier about the
think, pause, act?
Yeah, I don't ever think really. I just say, and I think it's just like, oh, sorry, I don't mean to come across rude. And in social settings, finishing people's sentences, it's almost like I don't want it to come across as like, oh, it's all about me kind of thing. And sometimes me finishing sentences and stuff and butting in and, oh, I've done that, or my version of that can come across that as well.
Your brain's moving so fast, like a rate. And also, you kind of know what you want. You've got incredible confidence, which is quite an interesting dynamic, because then there's an insecurity, if you like, that sits behind it. But the confidence to say, I'm sitting here, which is normally Phil's seat, but you're much more comfortable with that and you've got your reasons you want to sit. So you're sitting there. It wasn't a conversation. But at the same time, it didn't feel rude. But I can imagine in different scenarios, you're like, oh, I probably felt like I'm being rude. But it's an interesting dynamic. You've got that extreme confidence to pitch up on a street, which I couldn't do. I haven't got the talent either. But I couldn't, even if I had the talent, I don't think I could actually then start singing to strangers. Which leaves yourself wide open. And you think about the RSD element, the rejection sensitivity of that. And I want to know how, it's almost like it feels like you embraced that talent and you embraced the confidence to back yourself, and you were prepared to take the rejection. I want to open that bit up, because I feel like you can draw so much confidence from that.
Busking is just one of those things that has shaped everything for me. And if I can sing in front of people who haven't come to see me and don't necessarily care, then I can do anything. I can put on a show and do my own tour where people are literally there to see me, and it's just like a confidence thing. And I don't think it was ever a case of I'm amazing. It was just a case of trying it. And when I was doing it, I was live streaming at the same time, because I'd stand there for like 4 hours straight. And if I didn't have my live stream on, like the days when my phone died and I only had one device, I'd be so like, I've not got enough going on. Even though I was singing, however many songs, I'd be having I used to have like 10,000 people, up to 10,000 people watching from all over the world, and like answering the questions and talking, and then that kind of thing. It was just
that's a lot going on, right? One person, no one sits behind it for production or anything.
All my ideas, and I think it was 2021, I was like the only female in the top 10 of live streams of that year, and I appeared 3 times along Coldplay, Ed Sheeran, Liam Payne, Youngblood and Ed Sheeran, and it was just like random Liv Harland was just thrown in there. It was just,
that's not a bad group of musicians to be associated with, is it? Let me take you back to lyrics. You mentioned something earlier about you get there, you're on whatever stage you're on, and you know the next chorus, you know the next verse, and you know where that's going. if that was an essay in an English exam that you were expected to remember,
no,
you're shaking. Yeah,
absolutely not. I did actually get B in English. Don't know how that happened in language, but no, I wouldn't have any interest, and I would forget it after line 1. It's the melody that connects the lyrics for me, and
right. So it's a different way of thinking, a different way of using the brain, and you're also motivated. Music clearly motivates you, and we've talked long and hard over the time we've worked together about
which is also purpose.
Yeah, once you're motivated, it changes the chemicals in the brain, makes the dots connect better.
Yeah,
and here you are in your sweet spot. Apart from music, and I'd like to explore school and music. What was school like for you growing up?
School for me, all I remember is gym and dance, which is something that we started and put on. I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed sport. I did every single sport, was captain of all sorts of sports. Wasn't academic at all. Would just walk out of class because I was not bored, engaged. But I was also really close with the lady that she was the head of behaviour, and I'd be like, I'm off to go see Miss P, and I'd go and see Erica, and she'd kind of be like, have me down and chat with me for 5 minutes, and then I'd go back and I'd be absolutely fine. And I just was never the naughty kid, but I was always I was always in trouble, but not for being anything. Disengaged, and the class clown and trying to be the centre of attention. And
what would she say now when she could look at how your career's progressed?
Well, she does say now. She invites me back to sing in front of the whole school. I went back to Queen Ethelburga's and was invited and sang on the stage. Her kids are massive fans of me now. I actually went and worked back at that school and then had to leave because kids were queuing up at the gate to get pictures of me, and it was just really weird. And I was like, all right, maybe I'm actually not meant to do this work life. Like, I was a nanny at the school, and
how did that feel, going back to the
strange
school?
I was like in the teachers group. It was really cool actually, and they always like, oh, you was a nightmare, and I was like, yeah, I know. And then I used to just get fired pretty much from every job, and they'd be like, oh, you focus on your career. And I'd always just go back to the streets, and that was just my security, because I can never lose the job of going to the streets. It was always there.
The connection there, I go to the street for security. Yeah. This is, for so many people, it's not a secure place at all.
Oh yeah, that's my security. It was fine.
So what kind of jobs did you try?
Gymnastics. I did qualified in childcare up to the highest level.
Nannying, gymnastics, childcare.
Teaching gymnastics for children, and then it was like a kind of, you looked after them, did camps and stuff, and I just basically was the big kid, and that's why that worked. And then when it was like nannying, I was also the big kid, and I had the qualifications, so I used the qualifications from my apprenticeship to then do nannying. And then every single job, I did a performing arts school, but it was like you looked after them like a preschool kind of thing. They've all been like in that same bubble, and every single job have left because they've just said, oh yeah, just focus on your music, and you're meant to do that kind of thing. And I also thought like I was only really good at the job because I was a big kid kind of thing.
Have you had any other conversations with anyone in the music industry? So like there's a self-sufficiency to you, right? And you don't have a label, you don't have a kind of production team. You are the ideas, you are the engine. But even conversations we've had at this table, Darkest Beast, OBE, huge knowledge and experience in the music industry, called out the fact that actually there's no real safeguarding. There's not been any kind of knowledge passed on to artists to manage anything that's neurodivergent. So I just wondered, because I really appreciate that you reached out to me and we can have this conversation, but it doesn't feel like you've found an outlet to reach out within that industry. And yet so many of those people, even artists you've named, are likely neurodivergent.
Yeah, I feel like it's not kind of spoken about, and I do think a lot of people that are and have ADHD are quite creative, and it's like you said, I didn't do well at school, but I enjoyed the things that I did enjoy, and it's like, well, we all enjoyed music, and I do kind of look back and think, oh, I wish kind of I went to a music school when I was younger and stuff, because now I just feel like I'm just doing what I should have done 10 years ago now. And I think there should be more out there for the security and safety to have that creativity in the music industry.
What was music like at school then?
Interestingly, I wasn't great at it, to be honest. I was okay at singing, when I began off singing, but I didn't learn an instrument. We'd try and go off and they'd try and teach you how to play piano or learn an instrument within music, but I don't remember ever successing in that. I did the talent show and won that a couple of times at school, and that's when I first thought, I was like, Mum, I'm doing singing competition. And I think even in year 7, I was like, oh, Mum, I'm singing in front of the whole school. And she was kind of like, what? Like, she knew I'd always done stage schools and stuff, but I was the one that was just like, no, I want to do this. I want to sing in front of the whole school. I just want to go down that avenue. And I won an iPod back in the day, winning an iPod that was touchscreen. I just came home with it. My mum was like, what? I was like, yeah, I won the school talent show in front of it's just really weird how I just, stemmed off.
Did you make the connection then that did you need to go through a certain amount of jobs that you did and always get fired before you then thought, okay, I need to actually rely on what I've won competitions on? Or were you always thinking I could actually?
I always thought about music, and I said to my dad, can I, buy like a microphone? And we bought a microphone, and it was like one that you had to put into a laptop, and I couldn't hear my voice there and then. I was like, no, this isn't what I want. I don't want to record the music. I want to hear my voice like coming out of the system. And that's when I bought the system. Started off with like a karaoke box, really bad system, and just took it out in the street and was like, no, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to just sing there and then, and just not the whole technical side of producing it. So now I'll get someone else to help me and do the producing, and then I just turn up and do what I think I'm all right.
Well, look how well you've gone. That's just cool.
We talk a lot about entrepreneurs and ADHD, don't we? And we talk about the creative arts and ADHD. I'm sat in front of a young woman who's articulating your career and your career pathway. You're both entrepreneurial. Nobody's picked you up and told you what your pathway is going to be.
No one shows you how either.
No, you're designing that. So there's a very big entrepreneurial piece in there. Creative, being able to write lyrics, write music, and then go into a studio and bring other musicians into what you're looking to produce, what you're looking as an output from that. And then I think about what you've talked about with your career. And we talk about how education perhaps doesn't get and enable people with ADHD and autism. And here we have even the musical side of an education didn't get you and didn't enable you. And it's as if you've come to where you are, and you're on the cusp of greatness here as a musician without a shadow of a doubt. 50 million streams is a significant presence in the music world. And yet the education system didn't enable that. And I just think how disappointing.
If they'd have said to me, you'd be a lot better off if you just actually focused on what you're actually enjoying and want to do. Speak to my parents. It would have been one meeting and just say she'd be better off in a music school, Brit school, like, all Ray and everyone and Olivia Dean, all my, idols all went to Brit school. I'm like, I didn't do any of that. Like my friend Freya Sky, she's 16. She went and did music at school, and they did maths maybe an hour a week. And I was like, what? Why wasn't I at that place? Like, it would have just been, if it was in the educational system, a conversation, and my mum and dad would have been, yes, let's go, because I was in private education, and that would have just been a movement, and I could have just been a completely different. I mean, I'm grateful for the journey I have been on, but
and having had dialogue with you over the last 48 hours through WhatsApp and calls and things.
How hard was it to get me on a call there?
Yes.
Even when I was on, I was like, yeah.
I knew, but bear in mind, we were both on trains. You were going south, I was going north. It was destined to fail as a call anyway. Yeah. But
maybe that was the idea.
Through that thanks. But through that process, I was building a picture of you and I didn't complete the picture until meeting you today. And if I may, the picture is a gifted musician who will thrive in the arts, but actually the executive functioning requirements of life that will go around that are being hampered. And if you had help with those executive functioning elements, it would enable the music even more. And it's very similar to yourself. We laugh and joke about diary management, time management, tasks and things like that, and got a lot on. Yeah, you're never going to be able to manage that.
That's why I always say to myself, I need to be famous so I have someone to tell me where to be and to book my Uber. That's genuinely it. I don't care what time it is.
Other taxi companies are available.
But I don't know what time it is ever. I'm always just waiting on someone telling me.
Yeah, and when you look at successful people, and I've argued this for years, it's only when you get that team of people around you that enable you, that you will flourish to your fullest capability. For now,
I'm on my own.
Yeah, and you're not. You've got your mum, and no, you have. Yeah, you have got your mum, and she gets you where you need to be some of the time. But you do need help with your executive functioning. I would be bold enough to say I've seen that impairment, and that's not at the cost of your creativity, and that's an important message for anybody. Is you do not need to lose your creativity to get the help with the things that you need help with. You're gifted. You're incredibly gifted. And then, of course, if I say to you, where do you think your ADHD's come from? Who would you say?
My mum.
And who are you relying on?
My mum.
Oh,
I guess.
I see where you've gone there.
Yeah, yeah. So your mum's brilliant. Met her, spent time with her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
But my point is, for anybody who's in the creative world, don't be frightened of having an assessment and a diagnosis. And we're working with Darkus to help musicians because the musical world is most definitely connected strongly to neurodivergent traits. And some of the characteristics of being a musician, the natural journey you're going to go on is a natural journey that will amplify some of the struggles people with ADHD have. And we've talked about how can we help musicians with ADHD. And I'd dearly like to be the person that brings help into your career to help you, to enable you, because I'd like in 3-4 years to see you at the Brits, to see you enabled without that being more difficult than it should be, because you've got the musical talent, but the executive functioning to get around those bits until you've got an executive assistant running around after you and putting you in that taxi, putting that there. There's an enablement needed, and there'll be a lot more other people, even people with in the labels in the industry being funded are having those difficulties. And my plea to you is don't be frightened to explore this.
Your point's super valid. Yeah, there are people that perhaps are not as brave and confident in coming forward and satisfying that curiosity. And I think if I say this to you as well, having been someone that went through a journey where I ticked all the boxes, I had so much relatability with people where they were like, you don't even need to have a test or a diagnosis because it's so clearly got ADHD. There is a moment from the minute I was diagnosed, and I'm accepting of that I can reflect, I can actually, and it's one of those things where the moment you've actually got it confirmed, you do make changes. You are more forgiving. That's why I should make your voices in your head.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is forgiving is a good point.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. John's mentioned your confidence a couple of times. Confident, you are projecting a confidence. But if I go behind that for a second, apart from your music, how's your self-esteem?
As I said, like sometimes I'm worried that I come across in social settings as sometimes potentially rude, hurt people's feelings sometimes from saying the wrong thing and like not thinking. And I think it's also like, because I have such a big social media platform, I think people also might portray me. Alongside that, what I've just said is sometimes can come across negative. It is a little bit like, oh gosh, like maybe I do need to there is a reason why I'm kind of being like this. And I think behind the music side of it, there is a lot of pressure to, be a really big artist and, role model to other people that kind of follow me. But at the same time, I'm still like, still learning and still trying to get to a place on time and
There's a maturity about you. Which is incredibly refreshing to talk with and be with, isn't there? But you can, I can feel the self-doubt you have, not about your music. That's your place. It's getting to there and around that. And you shouldn't be surprised, and I'm sure you won't be, that most people with ADHD who are not diagnosed and not understanding themselves harbour that self-doubt because of the challenges, the difficulties, the literal challenges you have every day to get things enabled and make things happen. And one of the beauties I think you've found in your life is that you have found your music.
Yeah.
Where would you be without it?
No idea. No idea.
No, we should be grateful that you have. We should be grateful that you found your music.
Yeah.
Because I think you've got that square peg, square hole. Bob Brooks, your island of competence is singing.
Yeah.
You've developed that into writing and developing the musical element of that. That's fantastic that you've found that and you're enabled to do that. And I think we would like to work with you, introduce you to some of the people we know, to forward think, not about your music, that's a career that's going to go ahead, but it's about how you're going to manage your vulnerability as a woman with ADHD. And we talked about that in previous interviews today.
Yeah.
How can we put a team of people, not a team of people constantly around you, but help you through that vulnerability that you will experience in music, that you will be more heightened to as a person with I'm pretty confident has got ADHD in the music world. And we've been talking about doing this with passion, haven't we?
Yeah.
And what we have here is you that I think it'd be a great piece of work to all jointly do and go through the journey together and work with your mum and protect you that little bit. Not from your music, that's going to happen.
Just navigating everything else to get to that, and then my music will flourish, really.
Yeah. Navigate you. Yeah.
There's a community element, and you've seen it today with the filming with Lou Woods, Dr. Cardi Jones, who are here in the studio, and there's that whole acceptance and vibration off everybody that I found through my crash course, if you like, of pretty much a year. We're celebrating a year of filming together, having real conversations, which I can relate to so much because I didn't have music as a youngster. So I actually really had a muddled teenage, early 20s and just did jobs that I didn't enjoy to then work out purpose and work out. So I had a much longer journey into that. So these conversations are all so relatable to what becomes a community, a tribe of people that have got your back. They want, they're there to be on the end of a phone call or the end of a message. You say, spread on messages, and you've got that. And I'd love to ripple that into the music industry where people do feel lonely. People probably don't feel they can talk. So any help with that, you've got that help from a community that's ready and willing and met people today already. We'd love to take that into an industry where perhaps not showing a weakness. You know, I'll always applaud you for what I see as a strength in that whole almost being vulnerable, coming in to ask questions. But I think a lot of people bottle that up. And you probably recognise that in the industry as well.
What's the dream?
To be fair, I don't, as I said to you before, I don't actually put too much pressure on it. And I feel like if you asked me at 10, my dream would be what I'm doing now. So it's kind of like just taking every year as it comes. But for me, just probably more streams, more writing original music. Probably be, like, I do think I would love to be signed, but at the minute I'm just still navigating, I've done everything else to this point on my own. So it's a bit like, I don't want to give anyone else the credibility yet. I just want to keep going independently.
It's a long way on your own, right? Yeah.
That's what I mean. I'd rather just keep on going and just, inspire younger artists and just do what I love, really.
That's not a bad dream to have, is it? Hey, Liv, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you today and film with you now. Absolutely amazing.
Loved it. Look forward to it. Did you enjoy it? Because I know you were nervous, I guess. And
I've enjoyed it, and listening to everyone else speak and everyone else's stories, it's very interesting. So looking forward to see what happens, really.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.